All right, so here recently there have been a lot of Bond Number 9 clones coming out from, I would say, multiple different companies. The first ones that I've kind of seen, and these were probably about a year or so back, were the clones from Emperor Perfumes. And then now we have a new set of Bond Number 9 clones from Grandeur Elite. And these are a part of their Avenue sort of line. And this is going to be Grandeur Elite's and Avenue New York. All right, so this one you can see it basically comes in like the same type of box as the Avenue London one came in, which is the Greenwich Village clone. And you can see here it's got the same sort of logo here, Avenue Eau de Parfum New York, and then you got the Grandeur logo down here. This is a 100 ml 3.4 ounce bottle. You got the Grandeur logo up top, nothing on the sides really, and then you've got the Avenue and then the ingredients here on the back of the box. All right, and then you got the logo down here at the bottom. And then just like the Avenue London bottle, you've got the same sort of bottle here. This kind of has like this kind of like matte sort of finish, or you know, that's at least the way that it feels, at least in my hand. And you've kind of got like these like textured ripples going across like the front of the bottle as well. The writing, I would say, is also textured on here also. All right, and so the front of the bottle basically looks like the front of the box. Cap, pretty cheap, you know, pretty lightweight, just kind of plasticky feeling. Nothing really to write home about. And then you've got the Eau de Parfum sticker down here at the bottom of the bottle. All right. Now, if you're not familiar, this is going to be their take on Lafayette Street from Bond Number 9. So the notes on Lafayette Street are going to be in the top notes. You have bergamot, flowers, and coriander. In the mid, you have apple, ambroxan, and vanilla. And then in the base, you have ambergris, tonka bean, and woodsy notes. All right. So I was pretty impressed with the way that the Avenue London smelled in comparison to like the Greenwich Village. It smelled way better than, you know, Emperor Perfume's interpretation of the fragrance. Really, really high quality. You know, the main thing that I just kind of noticed was the florals in the Avenue London. They didn't seem to be as high quality as what you get in Greenwich Village, which is, you know, to be, I would say, expected with a clone that's, you know, like $30 as compared to, pretty sure the Bond Number 9s typically go for like $300 or something like that. So, you know, the fragrance is going to be 10 times less than, you know, what it's cloning. Obviously, it's not going to be exactly the same. All right. Now, I was pretty impressed with how close this actually came to the original fragrance. All right. Now, the only thing, and I'm pretty sure this is just probably this particular bottle, this bottle kind of gets stuck. It's almost kind of like the cap is maybe sitting in there like this. And so when you press it down, the front of this actual atomizer kind of catches itself on like the collar or the neck ring. So maybe that's something that I can take it off and try to fix it. But that's not a problem that I had with the Avenue London bottle. All right. So I've got the Avenue New York sprayed over here, and then we've got the Lafayette Street sprayed on the right strip. And I mean, just from the opening spray, these are very, very close to each other. The thing that I noticed with the Avenue London was that one did open a little bit differently than what the Greenwich Village did. And I mean, I preferred the way that the Avenue London opened over, you know, the original Greenwich Village. But this one, I feel like it opens the exact same way, I would say, as, you know, what the Lafayette Street does from bond number 9. Now, what I will say is the Avenue London, to me, seems to be slightly denser in terms of its smell than what the bond number 9 is. Bond number 9 seems to me, it seems to be a little bit more kind of like on the aromatic side. I would say the difference though is pretty slight. I would say it's probably like maybe a 5 to 7% difference in terms of, you know, like the density. But overall, I feel like the smell is pretty much just about the same. So you kind of get like this really fresh bergamot mixed with like that fresh apple, mixed with florals, and I would say like a slightly sort of spicy coriander. I feel like the coriander is a little bit more realistic in the bond number 9. And the apple, I would say, is slightly higher quality as well. Also, the Avenue New York, there is, I would say, because it is a little bit denser, this one also comes across as being slightly sweeter than, you know, what the original bond number 9 does. But I mean, overall, I would say in that initial opening, these are going to be like, I don't know, maybe 92% close pretty much to each other. And I would say really the opening is probably going to be, the opening and the mid, I would say, are like where these two fragrances are going to be, you know, their least, you know, close to each other. Which, like I said, is still over 90% close. Once you really get into like the far dry down, when you start to get, you know, like the vanilla and the tonka beans start to come out, the sort of woodier aspects of the fragrance, then I would say that's when these two are like 95% close pretty much to each other. This one also has very, very good performance as well. So in terms of how this performs in comparison with the bond number 9, I would say that they're about the same. I get over 9 hours pretty much with both fragrances. So really good performance on each one of these. I would say that the projection, because this one comes off as being a little bit more denser, the projection is going to be a little bit more, you know, I would say intense than, you know, what it is from the bond number 9. All right. So this does come off as being a slightly heavier fragrance, pretty much. And you're going to get really, really good projection, I would say, out of this fragrance, at least for about the first hour and a half, hour, 45 minutes. And then it does dial back a little bit, but it doesn't really come like a total skin scent after that point. I would say it becomes a skin scent probably after maybe like the 4th hour or so, pretty much. But it's still going to be a fragrance that you can still smell, just because of the nature of what this fragrance is. This to me is definitely going to be more of like a sort of fall and wintertime fragrance. I would even say maybe like early spring. But you'll want to reach for this one, I would say, in cooler weather. At least for me anyway, I wouldn't reach for this fragrance like in the summertime at all, day or night, because I think that this is just, it comes off as being a little bit too thick for me to really pull off, especially out here in Las Vegas, where, you know, our nights are still going to be, you know, 80, 90, 100 plus degrees. So this is not going to be a summertime wear fragrance, at least out here. Now, maybe if you live in like a cooler part of the United States or cooler part of the world where, you know, at night in the summertime, you know, your nights are getting down to maybe like into the 60s or the 50s or something like that, then maybe I could see that working like on a summer night in those situations. But if you live anywhere where it's warm, then I would say this is going to be a no-go for the summertime. All right. Now, in terms of, you know, let's just say the overall closeness, you know, to the Lafayette Street from bond number 9, I'm going to say that this is going to be at least like an even 90% pretty much. This is a really, really good interpretation, again, of another bond number 9 fragrance. Grandeur Elite is just, they're putting out really, really solid fragrances. They really are. You know, I really love this fragrance as well as the Avenue London. Obviously, the iconic Nuit, the Blue Electric clone, that one is really good as well. I believe I've smelled some other Grandeur fragrances also that, you know, I thought were really good as well. But yeah, man, these bond number 9 fragrances that they're doing are pretty good, man. They really are. Just in terms of like an overall rating, I would say that this is a good, I would say 9 out of 10 as well, man. This is a very, very nice fragrance. Like I said, it is going to be more so something for kind of like cooler weather, in my opinion anyway. But obviously, you know, you can wear whatever you want whenever you want. So I would say don't let, you know, my opinion on that kind of, you know, change or sway how you decide to wear this fragrance. But at least for me, this is definitely going to be a cooler weather fragrance. All right. So that is pretty much, that's my take on this fragrance, man. Again, this is Avenue London, or I'm sorry, Avenue New York from Grandeur Elite. And let me know in the comments what you all think about this fragrance. I was able to pick this one up from bestbrandsperfume.com, I believe is where I purchased this one from. Typically, you can either find these on that website, or I know fragrancebuy.ca also typically carries these fragrances as well. So I would say probably just check between those two, and, you know, whoever has it for the least amount, you know, probably go with them. I believe Best Brands Perfume, their shipping is a lot cheaper than what fragrancebuy.ca's is. So it may come out to be that Best Brands Perfumes is going to be cheaper. Again, I got this one for about $30 or so from there. So just let me know in the comments, man. Have you all smelled this one? And if you have you smelled it and compared it to the original Lafayette Street from bond number 9? And do you agree with my assessment of how close this actually comes to the original bond number 9? All right. So if you're brand new to the channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And also to anyone watching, leave a like and a comment. And again, that's Jamar from Vegas Scents. I'll see you on the next video.